Hello and welcome to Monster Train. Now, if you don't know what this game is about, it's a little bit like Slay the Spire. The Steam store page describes it as a strategic roguelike deck building game with a twist. So I have played this game quite a bit, have achieved the highest difficulty level, but it's been like a couple of years perhaps since I've last played, and also I'm a little bit hungover. So it's unlikely that this run that I'm about to embark upon will end up succeeding, but let's try to have some fun, as we probably fail. So without further ado, let's click on Standard Run. New run. Alright, and there are, let's see, 6 clans in this game. Hellhorned, Awoken, Stygian Guard, Umbra, Melting Remnant, and the Wormkin. All of these play a little bit differently, and all of them have like 2 different champions to choose from. But let's go with random and random. You always play as a primary clan combined with an allied clan, so essentially you're dual classing or something. And indeed, I am going to play on the highest difficulty level, Covenant rank 25. It's probably going to kick my butt, but so be it. I'm not going to add anything from here, let's just depart. Okay, and boss battles. So we get Daedalus the Professor, Arceus Darkness Incarnate, and Seraph the Temperate. Alright, so let's see if I ever get to the final boss here. We shall see. If I'm enjoying this game enough, then I will be playing more of it. So here's our deck. We start as Thetis Titan's Bane, who is not my favorite from what I remember, but I think he's like fine. We have some Frozen Lances, and we have some Root Seeds. I do remember that these Root Seeds were pretty good. And we always start with some Train Stewards. Some standard defenders of the train. Okay. Also, yes, I do have the DLC for this game, which adds some mechanics that I partly remember. But anyway, let's proceed with the actual game. So let's see. This is where we start at the very top, and the goal is to get to the very bottom here. And yeah, there's a battle in each of these like sectors or maps, whatever you call them. Anyway, so get to choose an artifact here. And a card with Consume is played, deal 30 damage to the front enemy unit. So am I consuming stuff? That's not the right thing to click on. Am I consuming stuff? As far as I can see, not yet. Consume can only be played once per battle. Well, eventually that might trigger. Jack strips deal 2 damage whenever an enemy unit moves between floors. Okay, so this is very good against the smaller, flimsier enemies, of which there are multiple of. It's not going to do much against the bigger ones, but early on this should be pretty good. I'll click on that one. Okay, we also get to upgrade the champion. So let's see. Strike, apply Frostbite, or Sweep. And apply spell weakness. Probably go with that one. Probably. Yeah, that seems to be a good one to me. Not that the other one is bad, though. Also, these choices do affect the stats as well, so Chill Wind will give us more attack. I think that's what this is called. If not, then whatever, it means that. And also, yeah, less attack from handheld totem, but more health. Well, let's go with that one. Spell weakness 1, sweep. And also divine boons. Now I could take that. This is a mechanic added, I think, by the DLC to the game. But if I get these bonuses that are offered to us, then it also increases the difficulty of the game. I don't think I care enough about 100 gold here. I mean, it might be a good idea to take that. So packed shards. The more packed shards you collect, the harder the enemies you face will be. So I could go with like 0 for the entire run, but I think, need to, yes, collect 100 before the end of the run to unlock a final battle. Well, like I said, it's pretty unlikely, since I'm rusty and overall not a great player of this game, that I'll get that far, but I think I will at some point aim to get some of these, but let's skip this first one at least. Okay, and let's take the first battle. Guardians of Light. These disciples have been granted special power over the Light of Seraph, making them harder to kill than other disciples. Alright, and there are additional challenges you can take. Enemy units enter with armor 10. Now that doesn't sound very good. Especially for the jack strips, that really lessens the power of that artifact. So I do deal damage, obviously, but I'm wondering if it's worth taking that. Well, let's go with it. Obviously, I mean, the point is with these challenges that they are a challenge. And if you beat them, then great. So let's see how this goes. Enemy units enter with armor 10. Alright, and here's the capacity. Every unit that you have will have a capacity. I think I'll put Tethys, our champion, who is kind of needs protection. He's a weaker one out of the champions. I think I'll put him on the top floor. Apprentice of Light, Trusted Priest. So the priest will heal. And if the Apprentice of Light slays something, it gains damage shield. That's not good. Well, anyway, like I said, let's try Tethys on the top floor. And let's also protect him, probably, with the Train Steward. Okay, yes. Ember Drain 1. I didn't remember this being a thing. Well, it doesn't matter. The mechanics and the finer details of the game will come back to me at some point. Probably. Hopefully. Anyway, let's use this. Deal a bit of damage, and that's our first turn. Waves remaining, 3. Alright, more of them coming in. Okay, we have these collectors also. I think one of them spawns in each battle. Doesn't look like I can kill this one, sadly. Killing it would give me 50 gold. Alright, well, let's just probably use the Train Steward here. Deal some damage and apply root seeds, probably. Like I said, I'm very rusty at this game. We'll be making mistakes. Anyway, let's apply the root seeds on the champion. And yeah, you're going to get away, Collector. Oh well. So it goes. Monster Train 2 came out recently, and I've heard good things about it, so I will, I think, at some point get that. Not sure when. I am a patient man sometimes, so it might take a long while. Anyway, we can see that the priest is dying. That's because of Tethys' sweep. This guy is currently staying alive, though. We have the pyre of the train that we need to protect. It has 40 health. It can also kill enemies on its own. But we should ideally make sure that none of the enemies reach it. Alright, so... probably don't care about the train stewards now. And instead use the root seeds. And the Titan's Gratitude, I guess, to get rid of this guy. Guess I could also go with this, but why would I? This will also discard the card at random, I don't care. Alright, there goes that guy. I could just deal damage here as well. That's allowed, instead of using the root seeds. What am I drawing next? A bunch of garbage, apart from the Titan's Gratitude. So is this guy going to die to the Tethys sweep? I think so, yeah. Going to lose 2 armor from going up a floor. Yeah, seems like it. Yeah, let's use the root seeds here. And there's the boss. Does my hammer frighten you? Well, a little bit, I guess. Anyway, let's kill your minions. Alrighty. So 25 minus 14. I need more, so let's do the sting here as well. And now I can play everything. Okay. It's going well so far. So I need a bunch of damage against this guy. I still have 1 train steward, which I will use next turn here to provide a bodyguard. I don't think I care about the drain here. So let's use Titan's Gratitude. Deal some damage and probably just root seeds again. Okay. It's yeah, currently we're losing. So it doesn't really, well, it matters, but the run isn't over if the champion dies. If the pyre dies, it's over. Anyway, let's see how this goes. I'll just start a new run in case this fails, which it might, but yeah. Bodyguard. Minus 70 now. This again. I think this is better than this. So minus 70, come on. Minus 78, so slightly better. But yeah, he's going to be able to go up. But we do win. The pyre is able to vanquish that guy. Okay, so I suppose it was worth it taking that challenge. Get a unit draft out of that. Gain some gold, a clan pack and an allied clan pack. Collect. Alright. So now it starts to get complicated. Crypt Builder. That's good damage. Helical Crystallis is also good damage, and it costs less. I could also skip for 10 gold. Mollusk Mage, plus 10 magic power on this floor. Some of these clans are also a fair bit easier than the others to play. I don't think I was ever very good or played much as this clan. So I don't know how good the Mollusk Mage really is. I'm sure it's like okay at least. And also, since I have the DLC, there is this thing called Unit Essences, which is something to consider with these creatures that you can get. So +5 attack, +3 health, and +10 magic power on this floor is the essence of the Mollusk Mage. I think I'll go with the Helical Crystallis. That's less costly to play than the Crypt Builder, and it deals okay damage. The Mollusk Mage might be good though, I don't know, maybe. I think all of these are good, but let's go with the Helical Crystallis. And... okay. I do like the Sting, but it would have been better had I taken that Mage. How about the Steel Enhancer? That sounds good. I can enhance one of our creatures, maybe the Champion. Well, currently the Champion makes the most sense. And it also costs 0. That's good. Okay, and Unit Draft. Icy Xylophyte, Animus of Will, Animus of Speed. I think I'll go with the Animus of Will. Has a multi-strike 2. Does need to be buffed for it to deal proper damage, but if I can buff it, enhance it, then it will be quite good. Capacity of 2 for each of these guys. Or gals, I guess. Then again, the unit essences are an important factor. I think I'll still go with the Animus of Will though. Try to combine something with that. Alright, so we have 2 choices on how to proceed. And that means that we have a Merchant of Magic or a Merchant of Steel. I think I'll go right, probably. So we have 100 gold. That's not like that much, though. Getting the spells upgraded at the Merchant of Magic also quite powerful. So we have the same choice coming up in the next map. Or map node, whatever. In that way, I guess it doesn't matter all that much, but there are definitely things to consider here. Some of which might be fairly obvious if you're actually good at this game. Yeah, it's essentially the same choice coming up. Though the unit banners are reversed coming up. So let's take a look at the deck here. So lowering the cost of some of these spells would be very nice as well. But yeah, let's go right this time. That means I'll probably go to the Merchant of Magic in the next map node if we get there. First, let's take the Awoken unit here. Okay, I think I'm going to take one of these. So we have Animus of Speed or Husk Hermit, and we will use the Divine Temple, I think that place in the middle is, to combine our units. Again, that's something added by the DLC. So I can get Sweep. No, actually I can't. I can get 30 health, or I can get Quick. I could also do it the other way around, keep one of these guys as the primary unit. I think I care more about being quick than I care about the 30 health. Probably. So we can have an Animus of Will who is also quick. That makes the low health matter a little less. So I do need to probably do something about that. Also need some attack power. But yeah, let's try the Animus of Speed here. So now we have an Animus of Speed and an Animus of Will. Both of which are ladies. Anyway, so yeah, Divine Temple. Accept shards in exchange for upgrading spells or combining units. So using this mechanic will also increase the packed shards. So I can upgrade a spell to gain Purge and cost -1. Or upgrade a spell with plus 30 magic power. Okay, so that does sound good. That's plus 15 for this meter though. Which will again make the game more difficult. That would be good for something like the Helical Crystallis. But before we do anything there, let's take a look at the Merchant of Steel. The Riddle of Steel. Okay, Large Stone. That sounds good. And I can just barely afford it. So I can use the Large Stone on the Animus of Will, which takes care of the health and the attack power. Yeah, and with the amount of money that I have, I think that makes sense. That should at least carry us some way towards the end. Not sure if it's like going to be the best of the choices I've made so far. Enough to get me to the final boss. I mean, obviously not by itself, but every little decision will compound. Anyway, let's take the Large Stone on the Animus of Will. So yeah, we can see the attack power and the health go up quite substantially. He, or she rather, will now take more capacity as well, so that is a consideration, but oh well, so it goes. Upgrade. Alright, and every unit by default I think has like 2 upgrade slots, so now one of them is spent. Leave that. And now we use the Divine Temple to use the Engage Pact. Sacrifice a unit to infuse its essence into another unit. Okay, so let's sacrifice the Animus of Speed here. And combine that with the Animus of Will. Try to make like a super unit to carry us. Okay, so now we are at 25 here. So do I want to use the Extreme Stone or the Purge Stone? I'll take a look at the map actually. Let's see. So we have a Divine Temple on map node 4. So we can obviously use this later as well. So I don't really need to be doing this, and indeed it might make the game far more difficult than I can currently handle. Once again, if I were a more experienced, better player, I could assess the situation far more accurately, and I could immediately basically deem that something like this would be worthwhile. But I think what I'm going to do is skip these for now. Not sure if that's the right call, but let's make that call. I have the power to decide. Alright, so now we have Last Night of the Disciples, Reconciler, Forged Disciple, okay, and the Trial. Mark of Invasion. At the start of battle, enemy units appear on each floor. Well, that shouldn't matter all that much now, since I do have the Animus of Will, who is also quick and large. So that's probably worthwhile. Let's try that. Penitent prayers. The reconcilers have arrived in great force to make sure that you repent for the sins that hell has brought upon the world. Well, if you say so. Okay, let's see how we do. Summoned unit Clergyman. Okay, so this will also kill all of these guys as they go up. And these ones will die as I put the Animus of Will on the top floor. I guess I'll also use Tethys there. I think the top floor is the one which will give us the minus energy for the next turn. Anyway, Animus of Will there. So will attack 3 times, which means it will kill all of these guys before they get to do anything. Yeah, so Ember Drain 1, lose 1 energy at the start of the next turn. Okay. So the game is slowly coming back to me. And these reconcilers add a Sinner's Burden to the top of your draw pile. Well, that's not good, but oh well. Let's buff our super unit. Okay. Okay, and again it seems that the collector is going to get away. Seems like it. Well, that sucks. I think the collector can spawn on the top floor or in the middle one, and so far it's been in the middle both times. Oh well. Oh well. I think I'll keep buffing here. Let's make our super unit even more super. Nah, just get rid of that. Okay, you guys are going to die. Let's just get rid of these. At this point, getting rid of the train stewards would be pretty nice. Yeah, let's keep buffing. So against the regular units, I think this Animus of Will is going to win basically every time, at least for now. But against the bosses, we'll see. This one should be fairly easy though. Let's weaken the boss, I guess. Getting rid of those was basically useless actually, but it doesn't matter. Not here. Okay, you're already dead. And we take 9 damage. I think I can press like shift to make the combat speed faster. I'll keep it as the level it's at for now. Okay, so that was fairly easy. Or very easy actually. Okay. I guess I could take a Crypt Builder now. I don't know how useful that's going to be though. Especially since it's so costly. There are ways to make it cost less though. And there are ways to gain energy as well. Cuttle Hex. End of turn, apply Frozen to a card. Well, the good thing about this thing is that it's 1 capacity, which means it can fit with the Animus of Will and Tethys. Usually, at least. Don't think I want another Helical Crystallis. How useful is getting frozen to a random card? Well, occasionally it's good. Not sure how good it is. I guess I'll try it. I think it's probably better than these two options currently. Not sure though. Basically, I'm just making many guesstimates here. Okay, I'm taking one of these, not skipping. How about a restoration detonation? Restore 10 health to a friendly unit and deal damage to enemies. Or the front enemy, rather. Vine Grasp. Okay, well, that can get rid of the... or kill the Collector. I don't remember if the Collector gets more health later on. But yeah, I don't know. Being able to manipulate the positions is pretty important in this game. So I think I'll try the Vine Grasp here. Added benefit is that it's 0 cost as well. Okay, we get some kind of event. I don't remember what this is. You sense an overwhelming presence pulse through, like a booming power stretching through all of existence. The understanding eludes me for why one with such little power as yourself continues to fight for a world that has already been condemned to die. Divinities created this world, not for you, never for you, but for us. It was a game for the child to judge souls as good or as evil. We did not care for this lowly play, but the creation of this world took less than a breath. Time was my domain, and life was the mother's. The divine presence vanishes, some lingering power left behind its wake. Okay, so embrace that power, choose a divine artifact, or I could leave. Okay, I guess I'll embrace that power. Divine Advance, also I could skip. Let's see. So Divine Advance Prototype boosts the Steward units. Okay. Divine Temper Talisman boosts magic power. Okay, and removed after one battle. So some of these events also have follow-up events. I don't remember what the follow-up event for this is. I think there might be one. Anyway, so these are good, obviously, but being gone after one battle doesn't sound all that good to me. And with our super unit, currently I don't think we need the help. I think I'll just take the money here. It's possible that if I had skipped this entirely, I would get like a better reward later on. I don't remember. Anyway, let's take the money, I think. I could also just look it up in the wiki, but I don't care that much at the moment. So I'll take the 25 gold, which isn't that much, but it's something. Okay, so the good thing about going to the Merchant of Steel again, were I to do that, is that I would be able to get the next, or the final, probably final upgrade for our super unit. However, going right will give us the option of upgrading the spells instead. Make them more powerful and cost less, perhaps. Since I already did the Merchant of Steel earlier, let's do... Well, let's take a look here. Is there a Merchant of Steel? Okay, well, So Hell Events allow us to duplicate something, and duplicating the super unit is obviously a good idea, usually. So with that in mind, it's perhaps better to actually go for the Merchant of Steel, were I to go there. However, I could also just go for the Unstable Vortex instead, which would enable me to remove 2 cards. Maybe I'll go with that instead. As long as I can duplicate later on, which I should be able to, yeah, there. And there. Okay, well, with that in mind, I think I will skip the Merchant of Steel here, and let's go with the original plan of going for the magic instead. Let's also get a unit. Okay, Another Animus of Will. I think not, probably. Shattered Shell, I mean. Let's try that one. Has a sweep attack, and if it slays... then again... This unit is kind of like something you want to build on, so you want to give it as many kills as possible. So that's going to be a bit of an issue currently, is the thing. Since I can't even upgrade it for a while, can I? Yeah, I cannot, so not sure if that's good in that way. The essence is pretty damn nice, but I've already created my super unit. I could create another one at some point, probably. If I go this way, that means getting the Hellvent though, which I was going to not do. Yeah, gets complicated. If I take another Animus of Will, that's fine, but that also kind of wants upgrades. I could just take the Shattered Shell though and see how it does, and if it never manages to get many kills, I guess that's not the end of the world. Now let's try that. Let's try it. Okay, I will, I think, also get the Divine Horde, so an artifact in exchange for 15 back charge. Okay, let's see. Lost Luggage, Infused Mallet, or Volatile Gauge. Okay, interesting. I think it's not going to be Volatile Gauge. Probably. Because I have overall pretty low cost cards, so that doesn't sound good to me. Currently. There is still the possibility of adding high cost cards to the deck though. I think Lost Luggage sounds pretty good. Infused Mallet is okay though. But let's take the Lost Luggage. At the start of battle, draw until you have 10 cards. So a good turn 1 can make the difference. We also have Concealed Caverns here. That means an event. Sometimes you get like a ludicrously overpowered event in this game, and sometimes just something absolutely horrible. Anyway, let's take the Merchant of Magic. Okay, I'm getting these probably, and probably also removing something, like a Train Steward. So, -1 cost to something. Basically, all of these cards will benefit a lot from that, but the Frozen Lances are pretty bad, so I don't think I'll go for that. How about just Root Seeds? Make that 0 cost. Other option would be Helical Crystallis, I guess. I'll make 1 Root Seed free. Also, making this free is now perhaps a bit better since I draw 10 at the start of each battle. Okay, and plus 10 magic power, I guess, for something. Probably the Helical Crystallis, since that will apply twice. Or how about the Vine Grasp? 13 damage to a backline unit. Let's do that one, actually. Okay, and let's purge. Oh yes, I have the Cuttle Hex. I had forgotten I have this little guy. What is your unit essence? End of turn, yeah, apply Frozen and a little bit of stats. So I could combine these two guys. Not sure which way I would do it, though. I probably will try that, though. If I get the chance, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's purge. Let's get rid of a Steward. They have been pretty useless since the start in this run. Getting rid of all of them will be worthwhile. Okay, and then the Concealed Caverns. What do we have? A fissure in the ice forces the Bone Shaker to stop. You've seen cracks like this before, often allowing you to multiply your forces through some ancient magic. But this one is different, unstable. Throwing something into the fissure could have unusual side effects, while just absorbing the energy from afar could have the more expected effect. How do you approach the ice fissure? Okay, so this is actually, I think, one of the more ludicrous events in the game. Obviously, this can be extremely powerful. You can copy a card 5 times. So if you have something good, and we kind of do, then this gets really silly really quickly. So I will be picking the 5 times option here, obviously. So I think if I were to multiply the enemies of speed, I don't remember, so maybe not. But I think if I were to do that, that will also increase the back charge. Would be nice to know right about now if that were the case. Just doing something like, let's see, this root seeds that I upgraded 5 times, that would also be good. Or the vine grasp even. So will it actually tell me if I click on this though? I don't remember, damn it. I wish it told me. Well, I will click on this and it might... So if I duplicate this 5 times, is it going to like give me over 100 in this? If it does, then I might be in trouble. Also, it does kind of suck a little bit. I don't have the second upgrade here. That would obviously be better if I did have that. Also, if I get 5 of this, can I even fit them? I don't think I can. Some of them will die at some point though, in which case I can replace them. I can also get more capacity for the train. So 1 super unit or 6 super units. Or, like I said, I could just take the root seeds that are 0 cost. That's pretty good as it stands. Alright, I thought about it for a while. I think I'll go with the root seeds. I still don't remember if this will actually increase the pack charge here. If it does, then I would be in trouble. Instead, I'll go with the root seeds. That's also... Well, it's 0 cost, yes, and it buffs, but it also draws +1 next turn. And since I draw 10 at the start of each battle, I think that's an excellent choice. So let's go with the root seeds, times 5 more. Your tribute sinks into the fissure, followed by a bright flash of light, then nothing. The fissure closes. All that's left are several copies of what you tossed in. Unstable, but strong. I'm like 75% sure that had I duplicated the super unit, I would also get more back charge, but like I said, I can't remember. Anyway, let's continue with the run. Next boss, Daedalus. Well, this is actually the first real boss. So Daedalus the Professor. Heaven's disgraced professor has improved his explosive inventions, creating better protection through technological enhancements. Alright, double barrel, constructed explosives explode twice. Well, that shouldn't matter. Not for this deck. Cannot choose a challenge for these fights. Didn't remember that that was a thing, but it is a thing. Alrighty. So I could go with the bottom floor, or even the middle floor now. Probably not the bottom floor this time though. And now that I have so many of these buffing cards, getting rid of the crappier stuff like the Frozen Lances and the stewards will be even better, I think. Anyway, let's go with the middle floor this time. Alrighty. Nice try, buddies. Okay, yeah, being quick is very helpful, at least sometimes. The thing about my deck, though, is that, let's see, the boss... Where can I see that? Seraph the Temperant will temper the strength of your units. So, obviously that doesn't play well with what we have going for us. Also, yeah, we have the Shattered Shell now. This thing, if I were to be able to make this thing quick, then it could actually get some kills. I don't think it's ever going to be able to get some. Or at least it's going to be very difficult. I do have the buffing cards, though, so I'm wondering. I mean, it would immediately die here, unless I also use the Train Steward. I guess I can give it some kills. That's fine. Or try to give it some kills. Yeah, stat changes persist for the duration of battle. Okay. So there is a different mechanic that will, in some instances, enable the stat changes to persist for the whole run. Okay. So it's far less important, actually, than I thought. Anyway, whatever. Might as well get rid of it. But let's use the Train Steward, I guess. Make that die instead. Continue buffing here. Haven't really made any use out of the spell weakness so far. Okay, you are not dead yet. Cuttle Hex. Okay, that cannot fit here as this was -1 capacity. After this fight I get to choose whether to get one more draw, one more energy, or one more capacity on each floor. Well, anyway, let's actually finish the fight before I think about that too much. Okay, use that. I think we're still doing, like, very well, so I don't need to, like, think about things too much. Keep on buffing. Guess I'll use this thing. And keep on buffing. Let's do you this time. Oh, you're actually dying. Well, that's fine. Yeah, it's because this guy has a sweep attack. Attack, not a tag. Anyway. So mistake, but whatever, doesn't matter. Oh, Conduit Infiltrator. Moves directly from the first floor to the third floor. Okay, well that's not good. That's not good at all. I think I have enough draw though. I'm thinking ahead. So probably get like energy or capacity. Anyway, can I kill these guys? The jack strips will kill all except one. You're both dying. Seems there's not much I can do about it. Yeah, doesn't look like I can do anything about it, basically. How about using this, though? So we'll kill both of these. Also, I could just use the Vine Grasp, yeah. Options. Options are presented. Many ways I could do this, but anyway. Well, since it probably doesn't matter all that much here, let's just use like this. Gets rid of the frozen cardboard, whatever. Okay, so this thing is going to kill the units. That's fine, I suppose. Not great, but that's fine. Nothing I can do about it. Well, I can, because this thing. Well, let's keep them alive. Or keep the main one alive, I guess. Alright. Keep on buffing here, I guess. Even betterer. I haven't used the drain card even once. Well, whatever. Yeah, so this unit is good, but it does need to be buffed. Because it's kind of flimsy and, yeah, definitely can't perform well without a lot of help. Not dying yet. At some point, hopefully I'll get some healing. Because the super unit as well is going to take damage eventually. Okay. Alright, you're immediately dead, but like I said, doesn't matter. Buff, 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 buff. Yeah, definitely don't need more draw, I don't think, for this deck. Okay, and we win. Guess I'll still use that for no reason. And let's also use that for once. Okay, there we go. Well, I was speaking about healing, and here's healing. Unleash the Wildwood. We also have Wildwood Tome. Applies quick. Well, don't need that. Unless I were to give that to the champion. Or perhaps the second unit that I'll make probably at some point. Well, I do have units, but still. I mean, it would be good for the Shattered Shell to be quick. Be quick or be dead. Awoken's Rail Spike consume. Draw X and apply -1 energy to those cards. Well, that sounds good as well. All of these are pretty good. At least pretty good. So I'm wondering just how good the healing is. Currently it's not going to do much, since the super unit is quick. Eventually it will be, or would be, pretty damn good though. The Rail Spike also is quite good, especially if I get energy now. So I think it's between those two. I'll take the Rail Spike. Let's see how that performs. I can definitely see Unleash the Wildwood also being pretty damn good later on, but currently I think this is better. Probably. Okay, another unit. So yeah, now it gets slightly complicated again, since I might not necessarily need more units. We have another Shattered Shell here. What I could also do is combine 2 of them, right? I think you can do that. It's possible that you can't, but I think you might be able to do it. Just getting quick from enemies of speed, also pretty damn good though. So I can make a quick Shattered Shell. The thing with that is that... even when it's quick, when it starts at only 3 attack power, or attack, or whatever you call that, getting to the higher numbers by being able to slay your opponents will take time unless you specifically get the low health opponents. And if you don't, then this thing is going to die with only 10 health. Let's take a look at the map here. So yeah, like I said, probably going left now. The right path is also good, definitely. And I can make another so-called super unit there, but the question is, when can I actually boost it? That would be here, on map node 5, with the Merchant of Steel. The other path is also pretty damn good though. When's the next one coming up? At the final map node, so a long ways away. Probably don't want that, as there's a hell vent on the other path. Yeah, getting complicated. There's also the Titan Sentry here, which is a tankier, bulkier option. That might just be better, perhaps. Have one of these, well, maybe even 2 of these at some point, I don't know, to absorb some damage. So I can duplicate the super unit at some point, maybe even more than once, which means I will have one of them on at least 2 floors. So using the Titan Sentry in front sounds like a good idea. What is... yeah. So I could combine with an existing unit I have with the Titan Sentry. Let's go with the Titan Sentry this time. Okay, and so yeah. Energy, more draw, or more capacity. Like I said, I don't need more draw this time, I don't think. So let's take the energy, I think, and then maybe take like the capacity on the next and final one. You get one more of these, I think. Okay. And the next duplication is when... over there. So yeah, let's go with my original plan, which was the left path here. Also gives me an artifact, which could be very good. Let's see what we get. Sinner's Solve or Kinstone Totem. Blights and Scorches cost 0. So occasionally that's pretty damn nice. And a card is discarded before the end of your turn, gain 1 energy, that is. So I do have some discard. Not much though. 2. 3, I think, currently. So I think I'll go with the Sinner's Solve. Could have also just taken the gold, but let's go with that. Okay, and remove 2 stewards, I think. Alright, Divine Temple. Do I want an intrinsic spell? I don't think so. Yeah, nothing really seems that good currently to make intrinsic. And when I start with 10 cards, that sounds even less good. So no. But I guess I will make another super unit. Probably. It is plus 25 though. So I could definitely skip that. So what I'm thinking here is combining something with the sentry. But definitely there are other options. The sentry makes sense since that's a tankier unit. And I might want at least one of those. Maybe get the Cuttle Hex combined there. Just, I don't know, apply Frozen to a random card. I don't really need that, so maybe instead let's go with the Shattered Shell. I could also just skip doing this. How about skipping it? Skipping it is fine as long as I can get 100 here by the end, which I probably can. And there are more Divine Temples coming up. Merchant of Steel next map node. I'm definitely not a speed runner. I don't know, since this guy, if I were to combine these two, the Titan Sentry is very unlikely to be actually killing stuff, so getting this there doesn't really help. I think what I'll do is skip the Engage Pact. How about a Value Stone for something? -2 cost, like Helical Crystallis. That seems like the only option actually. There is also the Awoken's Railspike though. Yeah, I think I'll go with that one. That sounds excellent. Draw X +2 and apply -1 energy. Yeah, I think that's good. And now we're at 55 there. Alright, and let's upgrade the champion. Now I think I'll go with the Chill Wind, since the spell weakness has been mainly unutilized. Alright. And next battle. Protectors of the Clippet. Giant slabs of stone create defensive walls that can be hard to penetrate. Crack their defenses to defeat the heavy hitters behind. Firelight Master. Relentless, yeah. Resolve gain +5 attack. Quill Marksman, Clipped Reflector. Non-boss enemy units get +6 attack. I think that's fine. Let's take that challenge. It's going far easier than I thought it would. So probably have gotten lucky. I guess I might have also played well, but definitely the RNG could have been far harsher. Anyway, I don't seem to get the super unit yet, so that's bad. Well, it's also probably fine. Let's use Tethys on the middle floor again, I think. We get the Shattered Shell. I guess that goes to the top floor. Probably. Does mean I get that stupid Ember Drain, but oh well. Also, it doesn't really play well with the Slay +3 attack mechanic, but oh well. Or I guess I could just let it die. I mean, that's allowed. Let it die here. But let's use it on the top. Oh yeah, incant. Gain 10 armor, so that was basically bad. Shouldn't have done that. Anyway, as long as I get the super unit now, we are fine. Oh, and finally I can kill this thing. Yeah, there's the Animus of Speed. He's taking damage currently, though. Yeah, and the incant mechanic is going to start doing annoying things. So if I were to buff here, that also increases the armor. Titan's Gratitude does do enough damage though, so it cannot go up a floor at least. Well, taking 11 damage is not the end of the world. I'll use the sentry on the top. Alright, there we go. Taking 11, but able to kill that guy. You cannot stop this form, she says. If you say so. Okay, let's see. Clip Shaman, Spell Shield 1. Also Extinguish. Triggers on death, deal 5 damage to your front enemy unit. Okay, so now we can see healing would be pretty damn good. You don't have that spell mechanic though, so I can use these here. Without it being a problem. Also, here's the Awoken's Rail Spike. Why are you taking 12? Why are you taking 12? Is it because you don't kill this and it's Tethys who kills? I guess so. Okay. Well, we can change that. As long as this doesn't discard the rail spike though, that would be bad. Well, I guess it's not the end of the world. And it didn't? Okay, now you take 0. How many do I want to draw? Guess it doesn't really matter. Let's do all of them. One thing that I didn't take into account though, since most of my cards cost very little by themselves. Maybe the Rail Spike isn't all as good as I thought. It's still not bad though. Definitely not bad. Okay, keep on doing this stuff here. Do that. Okay, and we have spikes. Okay, yeah, the spike mechanic is pretty bad. Taking 29. So now the healing, or well, some way to get rid of that would be nice. That's kind of healing though. Spikes too. Yeah, not dealing enough damage either. So now it's getting difficult. So even though we were doing pretty damn good, now the game is ramping up the challenge. Also, we do have the 55 back charts, which are playing a role here, definitely. I'm not going to do all that much math. I'll just use the attack spells here, I think. These guys have spell shield anyway, and also the incant mechanic. But yeah, having just one of these super units is starting to be a weakness. The spell power that I have isn't all that good. So I need to find a way to heal here, provided we actually survive this fight. Come on, don't do that. Use that there. Use that. Minus 21. Well, it's still alive. You guys don't have spikes. So let's use the root seeds. Okay, now you both are dead, but also taking damage here. Still taking damage, but I think we can change that. Oh yeah, the enchant. Or incant, rather. Oh well. That means I cannot change it, actually. That might even get us killed. Well, I can beef up these guys, and maybe that will actually save us. We'll see. But I don't think I should be casting spells here anymore. I could also beef up Tethys, but I cannot protect Tethys. Tethys is just going to die immediately when the boss decides to show up, which will be, I think, next turn. Okay, well, let's beef these guys up. How about sapping this guy? Will that help? I need to get rid of the spell shield first, but we can do it. I mean, it doesn't help all that much. It saves a little bit of health. I guess a little bit of health is still something. Let's see. -7 now. Ouch. Yeah, I should have taken the healing when offered. You're not even dead yet, somehow. Well, anyway, at least we have this thing to get rid of one of these guys. Okay, so now, since I have so little health remaining, I think I should be buffing the top floor. And this might be the end of the run, maybe. We'll see. So when... Well, I don't... Let's not go there yet. You get to attack with the sweep. So this guy is going to die. Which means the Shattered Shell never gets to kill anything. Also, if I buff here, then the incant mechanic is going to trigger again. I think we're dead. And I think it might be, probably is because I skipped the healing. Okay. Also, maybe should have made different choices with the units, but I guess it's not over yet, technically. Anyway, I think I'll buff... Where? So the issue here is health. So buffing Tethys is also not very useful. So I guess I'll buff like one of these, like the Shattered Shell perhaps. That means this guy gets the incant, but oh well. Is there any way to actually... I don't have any way of, apart from Steel Enhancer, to get more health or armor survivability. So yeah, anyway, let's go with this, like I said. Also, I could have definitely duplicated the Animus of Will at some point, so that might have been the deciding factor as well. Feels so stupid giving this guy so many incant activations. Also, yeah, the Firelight Master will get even tougher after combat. Will this actually... I don't know, maybe I should use it here instead. Not that it even matters. Yeah, also this guy has 15 regen, so I think we're just dead. Oh well, it was a good run, I guess. At least I'm now semi-familiar with the game again. But yeah, probably over. Let's use the sap. It's not over until the fat lady sings. But still. This will discard something, but does it matter? I don't think it matters. Let's let it choose what it discards. Okay, let's use these on the top floor. There's still a minor chance, I guess. Also, there is the Frostbite mechanic, which, I don't know. Well, how much did we even get on it? 8. Yeah, we're dead. Well, it is what it is. I had fun. Hopefully you did as well. Oh yeah, spell weakness. Well, that wouldn't have mattered. That's, I think, maybe the first time I actually made use of that spell weakness. Well, anyway. Okay. We still have the pyre here, but I think it's not enough. Yeah, it's not enough. GG. Sad music is playing. But yeah, Monster Train. Pretty fun game. So I think I will be doing more of this. Like I said, hopefully you enjoyed the run, and thanks for watching. I shall see you next time.